New Zealanders are not being asked to wear face masks yet, but I know that in the US, the officials have advised that everyone wears a face mask or a piece of cloth when they're out in public. So I decided to try making a few quick and easy options here to share with you today. My son actually liked this one so much he was happy to model it for me. Given it's the first time he's ever been on my YouTube channel, that's kind of saying something. Now this is the first one we're going to make and it is super easy. All you actually need is 2 hair ties and a bandana or a scarf. The finer the fabric the better because it is being folded over a couple of times and you still need to be able to breathe through it. And so all I'm doing here is folding it into the middle and with those edges just folding them both into the middle again so you're left with a long rectangle shape. Then I'm just using the hair ties and sliding them over the edge of the scarf. Obviously neither of these masks are medical grade, but they do provide a very simple cloth covering. So I'm just folding one edge over to the other one to meet in the middle, and then just with that second edge I'm just sort of poking it into that little slot, and that is it. It is really easy. So this was the first mask I tried and I was pretty happy with the result. This is the next mask I attempted and it fits really well and it took me about 15 minutes to make, so it's pretty easy. So for this mask I just created a template. I'd had a little look online and got some inspiration, so I'll link down below where I got my inspiration for this mask from. I'll leave the measurements that I used for this one down below, but the beauty of it is that once you have your paper template you can actually measure it and fit it against your own face, because obviously all of our faces are slightly different shapes and sizes, but the paper template gives you a little bit of a guide whether you need to make yours a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, but the basic shape should be roughly the same on everyone. If I was making it again, I think I would make this curve slightly smaller. I just don't think you need quite as much fabric in this spot, but you'll see what I mean later. And just as a disclaimer, I am not for a minute saying that this mask is going to prevent you from getting coronavirus or anything like that. I'm not a medical professional, I don't know that, but all I am doing here is just making some cloth masks, and that's definitely in line with what the US officials are advising to do. Or should I say what they're advising people wear, certainly when they are out in public anyway. So now you've got your paper template, and I just used this drawstring bag. I was sent a scarf in this bag. I just liked the fact that it was black, so I pinned the template onto it. It's also a nice soft, fairly fine cotton as well, so it was going to be quite comfortable to wear. And of course you could use a pillow slip or an old t-shirt or any fabric that you've got around the house. I also recommend doubling the fabric up and using the template to cut 2 pieces at once. This just means that both pieces are exactly the same and you're also saving yourself some time. My scissors weren't the sharpest, so they took a little bit longer, but if you can find yourself some sharp scissors, that will help too. And then you've got your 2 front pieces. And you need to do the same for an inside piece. I actually found this little zip sort of fine mesh bag and thought that would be quite good for the inside, thinking that it might be a little bit breathable as well. And so again, I just used one of the first black pieces as a template, and the fabric's doubled up, so I'm only having to cut it once. Then it's time to cut that out and you will be left with 4 single pieces and you're ready to start. And then I just pinned both curvy sides together on the inside and the outside pieces. So that's the black and the white pieces. And I don't have a sewing machine, so I just hand sewed up the sides, and it really doesn't have to be very neat because this is going to be on the inside, but I just roughly sewed both of those sides up. And then this is what you are left with, 2 separate pieces, and what you then need to do is pin them along both long ends, and you do need to leave the side ends open at this stage. So just pin them along those long ends and you're going to hand sew them quickly as well. You also want those rough edges to be on the outside because you are going to turn it inside out shortly and you want them to be hidden. So as you can see here, I'm just pinning the other long side so it's ready to be hand sewn. And I kind of just eyeballed it and pretty much guessed how much seam allowance I was going to leave, which as you can see here is about 1/2 centimetre. I'm not sure what that is in inches, but this is what it looks like. And my camera didn't seem to want to focus too well as I was sewing up those sides, and I also don't want to bore you, so here is just a little snippet of me hand sewing those sides. And as I said, I did sew them quite roughly because they were going to be on the inside anyway. And because I didn't have any elastic, I just cut the straps off this very old bra of mine that had seen better days and decided to use them. If you do have elastic, that would be great, or you could use hair ties for this as well, but I found the bra straps were just a little bit thicker than hair ties and they ended up feeling a little bit more comfortable. I also just guessed the length, to be honest, so you can measure them and see what length you need for your face. And then this one gets sort of poked on the inside because you will turn it all inside out in a second, and it probably won't make sense until you see that, but you basically poke this one inside and I've pinned it there on the edge, so you're actually sewing that elastic on the inside. You'll have that one edge that's still left open, and that's where you just turn the whole mask in on itself. So you'll basically have all of the raw edges on the inside and all of the clean finished edges on the outside. Then the last thing to do is use the other bra strap, and instead of poking it in this time, you just have to have it on the outside and try and just sort of poke it in and sew along those edges, and then voila, you have a form-fitting face mask. Anyway, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love you to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more, and in the meantime, stay home, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
I won't make it easy for you now. You got 2 minutes of my time, and I don't really break too easily, but I'm worth it, 'cause I'll slip into your dreams tonight. Oh,